కరెక్ట్ చేసుకున్నాను.
రాంభద్ర గారు
చెప్పండి సార్.
మీది ఫోటో క్లారిటీ రావట్లేదు, మేబీ బికాస్ ఆఫ్ ఓవర్ లైటింగ్. క్లౌడ్స్ వచ్చినట్టు అలా కనిపిస్తుంది.
అది తీసే ఇది వెయ్యి లాస్ట్.
ఇక్కడ మాకు ఈ గ్లాస్ సరౌండింగ్ అది బెటర్. అక్కడ మనకి ఇక్కడ ఇవన్నీ ఇట్లా గ్లాసెస్ ఉంటాయి.
వేసి ఉంచుకోవటం అక్కడ వేసేసి నా రూమ్లో స్క్రీన్ వేసేస్తాను.
లైట్ కదండి తలుపు.
Hello, Mr. Badra. This is Khyati Naravne, CEO of the FTCCI.
Good afternoon, madam.
Good afternoon.
అదే నువ్వు అది
లేదు అది సరిగా
లేదు అది వేయమన్నా అది వేసాను. అది ఇది ఆఫీస్.
Kulkarni, you can mute all now.
నువ్వు ఎక్కువకి రా. కమ్ చేసా. కమ్.
Good afternoon, His Excellency.
Good afternoon, Naravane-san. Okay, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Can we start? Good.
Rajendra Agarwal is joining. Just 2 minutes.
Joined, yeah. Can we have the gallery view on?
Good afternoon, everyone.
Yeah, he joined. We can start now.
Okay. So good afternoon, everyone, and wish you a very happy New Year. This is the first event of 2021, which is held under the International Trade Committee. So we are excited. On behalf of the FTCCI, I, Khyati Naravne, take this opportunity to welcome you all to today's seminar on India-Japan business promotion opportunities and road ahead post-COVID. Which is being organized jointly with the Asabhanu group. Thank you so much, Mr. Badra, for always being so supportive with the FTCCI and for jointly curating this program. We acknowledge the presence of His Excellency, Mr. Taga Masayuki, Consul General of Japan. Welcome. And so just for your information, sir, you know, FTCCI has always been in the forefront, and we've been organizing and curating a lot of programs and activities for the betterment of the industry. And doing business series is one such platform where we give them an exposure to interact directly with the diplomats so that, you know, they get the first-hand information on what are the trade and, you know, business opportunities for them. So this is one such event where we could say last year we held several doing business series event with Israel. We did with Sri Lanka, with Finland, Peru, Jamaica, USA, Thailand. And then of course, after April, in fact, from March or April, we were not able to conduct as many as possible. But we were doing a lot of virtual things. So today's event is also one such kind, I think, which will give our participants an opportunity to know directly from you what are the trade potential. And I would also request all the participants, if you have any queries, you can pose your questions in the chat box, which will be taken by Mr. Kulkarni, who's also joined the webinar, and then he'll be able to take one by one. We will now begin the session, and I request our president, Mr. Ramakant Inani, to kindly welcome the gathering.
Thank you, Ms. Khyati Naravne. Your Excellency, Mr. Taga Masayuki, Consulate General of Japan at Chennai, Mr. B. Rambhadra and Mrs. B. Naganath, President and Director respectively of Asabhanu Japan Center, my colleagues in FTCCI, Mr. K. Bhaskar Reddy, Senior Vice President, Mr. Anil Agarwal, Vice President, Mr. Rajendra Agarwal, Chair of International Trade Committee of FTCCI, past Presidents and Management Committee members of FTCCI, and participants. Very good afternoon to all of you. I am extremely happy to welcome you all to seminar on India-Japan business promotion opportunities and road ahead post-COVID, organized by FTCCI jointly with Asabhanu Japan Center. My special welcome to Your Excellency Mr. Taga Masayuki, Consul General, Consulate General of Japan at Chennai. The objective of the seminar is to promote mutual understanding and to take advantage of emerging business opportunities between Japan and India in the post-COVID period. Sir, India and Japan are the largest and oldest democracies in Asia, having a high degree of congruence of religious, political, economic, and strategic interests. The two governments have agreed to further cement economic cooperation, with India opening doors to Japanese manufacturing activity and perhaps involve Tokyo in ramping up port infrastructure. On the economic front also, there is a widespread acknowledgement of high complementarity between Japan and India in multiple sectors. According to multiple studies, both countries stand to gain much from cooperation in automobile, pharma, chemical, electronics, textile and food processing. In each of these cases, India offers a sound manufacturing base and market for Japanese. The Indian market, especially Telangana, have been growing consistently, and there are great opportunities to expand trade and investment, particularly in pharma, agro and food processing, IT, tourism, logistics, energy and manufacturing sectors. Telangana has climbed the ladder in rankings in ease of doing business in the country, thus demonstrating the commitment and dedication with which the government of Telangana is working through Make in India and several other initiatives. The Indian government has been aggressively promoting FDI in select manufacturing sectors in India and improving India's ease of doing business. Telangana, which has emerged as a hotbed of innovation, has attracted over 30 Japanese companies and keen to create industrial park for Japanese SMEs. I am happy to mention that FTCCI recently organized a course on Japanese language, and some of them will share their experiences in this program. I am sure this seminar will give an opportunity the businessmen to know the development taken place in Japan and the scope of establishing business cooperation, joint ventures, technology import, and or making investment in Japan. I am confident that your visit will further expand the economic ties between our two countries, more particularly with the state of Telangana. I once again welcome you all and assure you our best cooperation in strengthening the trade relations. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ramakantinani, for the brief welcome address. Now I request our partner, Mr. B. Rambhadra, President Asabhanu Japan Center, to address the participants. Please unmute yourself.
His Excellency Taga Masayuki-san, Consul General of Japan in Chennai, leaders of FTCCI, Mrs. Kyati Narwane, Mr. Ramakantinai, Mr. Rajendra Agarwal, Mr. Bhaskar Reddy, Senior Vice President, and other distinguished members of FTCCI, Mrs. B. Naganath, Secretary, Asabhanu Japan Center, and teacher for this language course, and any other Japanese language students joining today's event. At the outset, I convey our best wishes to you all for a very happy and prosperous 2021. Soroji Taga-sama, hajimemaste. Asabhanu Japan Center no Rama to moshimasu. Akemaste omedetou gozaimasu. これからいろいろお世話になると思いますので、ぜひよろしくお願いいたします。今日とっても忙しい時期に時間いただきましてありがとうございます。Firstly, I congratulate the 20 plus students from spoken Japanese course. They belong to different age groups. I applaud their love for Japanese language. I also appreciate keen efforts of Mrs. B. Naganath, who incidentally is my best of. I thank FTCCI for organizing the course and hope if it can be taken up as a regular annual event. Japan and India relations are age-old. In 752 AD, Indian priest Bodhisena famously performed the eye-opening ceremony for the giant Buddha statue in Todaiji at Nara. In modern era, Japan and India established diplomatic relations in 1952. It will be 70 years next year. We at Asabhanu grandly celebrated 50th anniversary in 2002 and 60th anniversary in 2012. We are keen to organize celebrations in 2022 as well. Our Asabhanu Japan Center was established in 1997, and since then, we had been conducting various events in Hyderabad for promoting India-Japan relations. As a member of FTCCI, Asabhanu had the fortune of conducting joint events for promoting business and trade relationships with Japan. I thank leadership of FTCCI all these years. I extend hearty congratulations to FTCCI for today's seminar. My key points on the subject are as follows. One, economic relations between the two countries has vast potential for growth, and Japan can be a key partner in our economic transformation. India's big and growing market and vast human resources will be the primary drivers. Two, bilateral trade in 2018-19 was 18 billion US dollars. Indian imports were 13 billion and exports were 5 billion. Three, Japan extends bilateral loans and grant assistance. It is the largest donor for India. Total Japanese investment and ODA during 2000 to 2019 was around US dollar 32 billion. Japan invested in key industrial areas such as automobile, electrical equipment, telecommunications, chemical, environmental, and pharmaceuticals. 4. The number of Japanese companies registered in India is around 1,600. Number of Indian companies working in Japan is increasing and now more than 100. I'm happy to inform Taga-san, we are also one of those 100 plus companies. The Mumbai-Ahmedabad high-speed rail, dedicated freight corridor, the Delhi-Mumbai industrial corridor, the Chennai-Bangalore industrial corridor are all mega projects in the coming decades and sponsored by Japan. I will be very happy if Chennai-Vizag industrial corridor is also taken up. Japanese industrial townships are coming up all over India and favored by Japanese industry. 6. Japan-India Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement of 2011 is accelerating economic relations between the two countries. Japan announced $35 billion in 2014 as ODA for public and private investments, and of that, $12 billion is allotted for Make in India initiatives. Number 7, COVID was mildly felt in Japan. I'm saying it relatively, but the economic impacts have been pretty severe. The Japanese investment sentiment became weak following lockdown in India, but is likely to improve on the long term and medium term. Japanese manufacturers will be eligible for Japanese government subsidies if they shift production out of China to India. Number 8, our dynamic minister, K.T. Ramarao, has been invited by the World Economic Forum Summit at Japan in April. We hope many ideas will emerge coinciding his visit and as a result of it. I would be very happy if the Consulate as well as FTCCI can coordinate with Mr. K.T. Ramarao, who is very dynamic and young leader. His visit can bring fruitful collaboration and extend our cooperation with Japan. 9. During last 40 plus years, I participated in several Japanese projects in India and abroad. I'm very happy to share the experiences with you all and in support any Japan-India relationship activity in the FTCCI. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity today.
Thank you, Rambhadra Garu. We have been always receiving great support from you for organizing the meeting. And recently, with your support, we did a language course on the Japanese, wherein 23 participants have joined the session. And some of them are sharing their experiences. Mrs. B. Nagnath, who was a trainer and faculty, she conducted the class. Thank you, Nagnath Garu, for all your support. Thank you very much for all your support. Now I request Ms. Tejasri Sharwani, who was one of the participants, to share her views on the course. Welcome.
皆さんこんばんは。明けましておめでとうございます。私は17歳の学生であるテージャスリ・シャルワニです。子供の頃からニュースや昔の漫画を見て日本の文化を好きになりました。ですから、父から FTCCI とアサバヌが行っているオンライン日本語のコースのことを聞いて、すぐにアプライしました。このコースから日本の文化についてことと言葉を勉強しました。ナンナ先生は私たちに非常にスムーズに、そして優しく教えてくれました。先生は日本での経験についても話してくれました。毎週のクラスが楽しみでした。この素晴らしい日本語を習う機会を与えてくれた FTCCI とアサバヌ、そして素晴らしい先生、ナグナッ先生に感謝します。これからも日本語と日本文化を勉強続かかいと思っています。今年 JLPT 試験を受ける予定です。ありがとうございます。I thank FTCCI and Asabhanu for giving me this opportunity to learn Japanese. Thank you.
Thank you. Now I request Mr. Vivas.
I'm sorry, this was excellent. Just keep it
Excellent.
up.
Yeah.
Very good, Sarvani.
Very good, Sarvan.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, everyone.
Mr. Vivas Sure. Unmute.
こんばんは。はじめまして。私はヴィワスワッスレです。私は14歳です。日本語を勉強するために FTCCI チャンスをくれたのです。ありがとうございました。私はナグナさんから日本語を習いました。大変好きでした。日本と文化についてもっと知りたいと思っています。どうぞよろしくお願いします。Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It was a great encouragement from Nagnath Garu for all the participants. Thank you, madam.
Very good,
Thank you.
Viraswat.
Very nice.
Thank you. That was good.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you.
Now I request Mr. Rajendra Agarwal, Chair of International Trade Committee, to address and introduce the chief guest.
Unmute yourself.
Good afternoon, everyone. Konnichiwa. I am extremely happy to welcome and address the seminar on India-Japan business promotions, opportunities and road ahead post-COVID. My special welcome to our Excellency, Mr. Taga Masayuki, Consulate General of Japan at Chennai. India and Japan collaboration is growing in sunrise sectors of investments, such as food processing, healthcare, digital and information technologies, etc. Japan is also supporting development of transportation hub and network infrastructure in the areas of railway, including high-speed railways and the metros, and national highways, including expressways. as well as electricity and other infrastructure to strengthen connectivity among major industrial cities and economic zones, as well as regional connectivity. As major powerhouses of Asia, the opportunities for shared growth and success are immense through the business and commercial exchanges, driving startup ecosystems and indigenous technology solutions and the system, expertise in existing and emerging technologies, as well as vast pool of professional and skilled workforce. Now, I take pleasure to introduce our chief guest, Your Excellency, Mr. Taga Masayuki, Consulate General of Japan at Chennai. Your Excellency, Mr. Taga Masayuki is graduate from Yokohama City University, BA. He joined Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Japan in 1983 and served at embassies of Japan in India, Nepal, Ireland, Southwest Asian Division of Tokyo. He served as Deputy Director, Head of Indian Section, Southwest Asia Division, Asia and Ocean Affairs Bureau. First Secretary, Embassy of Japan in Pakistan, Consular, Embassy of Japan in Sri Lanka and Bangladesh, Senior Regional Coordinator, Southwest Asia Division and Consul General of Japan in Kolkata in India. I am confident that you all will benefit from this seminar, and I like to thank and wish all the best to all the participants and welcome this. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now I request our today's chief guest, Your Excellency, Mr. Taga Masayuki, Consul General, Consulate General of Japan, based at Chennai, to address the gathering, please.
Thank you very much, Chair, and thank you, Mr. Agarwal, for my introduction. So, Mr. Ramakant Ilani, the President of FTCCI, Mr. B.K. Badla, President, Asabhanu Japan Center, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I'd like to extend my sincere thanks to FTCCI and Asabhanu Japan Center for inviting me to today's online seminar on the occasion of the this is a kind of I understand the valedictory event for Japanese language course student also. So let me start today's talk that the Japan-India business promotion opportunities and road ahead post-COVID. Actually, last year was very difficult year, as you know very well, due to the spread of COVID-19. And all of us has to constrain and restrict ourselves to various things. And today, the beginning of 2021, we are still struggling to come out from pandemic. However, we could learn how we deal with the pandemic situation last year, and which would make our response to this COVID thing better in this year. And I believe we can overcome the situation and we can do better this year, and we can look better future ahead. But talking about our future prospect, let me think about our history. As already Mr. Badra mentioned quite a lot about our Indo-Japan relation. As Mr. Agarwal mentioned, I joined the Foreign Service in 1984. That year, actually, Japan's Indo-Japan relation was very, very cordial and very friendly. However, our trade, Japan-India trade, is only 1% of Japan's total overall trade and investment from Japan to India is less than 0.1%. So in spite of good feeling in Japanese people and Indian people, the actual relation is still very much limited. But the last 35 years, this relation has tremendously changed. I'm very happy to note in 2000, when Prime Minister Modi visited India, we declared our Indo-Japan relation as global partners. It means that not only we strengthen our bilateral relations, but we also cooperate for the global issues such as environment, nuclear issues, and various. So even from 1980s to 2000, our relation become wider and deeper. But after 2000, much more development. And year 2014, we leveled up our relation to special strategic and global partnership. And actually, our relation, government-government relation, become very, very strong, and various talks, of course, starting from our Prime Minister since 2005. Every year, either Japanese Prime Minister visit or Indian Prime Minister visit. So every year, the Prime Minister meet physically. Unfortunately, last year, due to COVID, not physical meeting, but they talk on telephone. So, and our relation very, very substantial and significant content has accompanied, ranging from cooperation in defense, security, development cooperation, as Mr. Butler said, business relation, talks on global issues, to the high-tech research collaboration, cultural and intellectual exchanges, people-to-people exchanges. So in the field of economic or business relations, our number of Japanese companies in India today is 1,454, and our Japanese company-related establishment is more than 5,000. And in this among 5,000, 600 establishments are in Telangana. Though the Japanese company in 1,454, it's 30, but the establishment means that the branches, that the factories, or those 150, it's quite a substantial number. I'm very happy to see such development. I visited Hyderabad first time in 1985. At that time, yes, I have good memory, but still not much Japanese company I could see. And last time I came Hyderabad, 2000, I think 15, I visited with one of business leader of Japan, and I could visit one of Japanese factory. It's very, very successful. So today, like Toshiba or Sony, Epson, etc., is doing very well in Hyderabad. And as far as development cooperation, that in Telangana, that Hyderabad Outer Ring Road is supported by us, and we are also supporting that to IIT Hyderabad. So, okay, we are doing quite well, but I'd like to mention some rather important figure about the comparison of the figure between Japan and China and Japan and India. Actually, last year was an exception because of COVID. But in 2018, 7 million Chinese people visited Japan. 7 million. And 3 million Japanese visited China. Do you know how many Japanese visited India in the same year? And how many to Japan? It's almost both sides. Only 2 lakhs. Only 2 lakhs. 2 lakhs is okay, but if compared with 3 millions, 8 million, and thinking about the population of India, I'd like to see this number is not double or triple. I'd like to see this number become 10 times. And also, for example, those Chinese students studying in Japan is more than 1 lakh, while Indian student studying in Japan is 1,500. And the Chinese learning Japanese are more than 1 million. And the Indian friends learning Japanese is around 30,000. So I'm very, very thankful to FTCCI and Asabhanu, your effort and cooperation that such a brilliant young student are learning Japanese. So I'm very much impressed by these 2 young students, how they are very good. So I commend very, very much about your effort, but we really, really need to make the number of students or people learning Japanese more. Of course, Japanese side also, we'd like to encourage our students to learn about India much, much more. So these are the now key, I think, to promote economic relation or business relation. It's very, very important to broaden the base. And from that point of view, Japanese language education is very, very important. So I'm very much, again, thankful to FTCCI and Asabhanu Japan Center for your effort. And of course, at the same time, Japan is keen to cooperate with India for making India. And for that, we are also willing to cooperate for vocational training or some course for the management. But I believe our effort will make it possible to much expand or increase the people-to-people contact, people-to-people exchange, so that our business relations also expand. And in that context, I think another aspect is very important to not introduce or to present those successful case joint venture company. So I'm very happy. For example, Toshiba in Hyderabad doing very well. Then it will be a good example. So by showing good example, other investors or company will think about Telangana or Hyderabad as good destination for their investment. So today I was given Oh, 20 minutes. So I just spoke 10 minutes. So should I talk more? Or maybe I leave participant for the question to I think that today many participants are there and many people willing to question me. I'm ready to answer as far as possible. And okay, so while thanking again for your invitation, I conclude my address today. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Your Excellency. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for showcasing us the opportunities and the Japanese involvement in the various projects in the Telangana. And we are proud that Toshiba is one of our members also. And the other areas where the Japanese investment is happening. Sir, I would like to make a small request from FTCCI. If you could provide us the trade inquiries or the trade fairs, exhibitions happening in Japan, so that we can circulate through our magazine as well as emailers to all the members. And some of our members, they are interested in knowing the projects, government projects available in Japanese, whether it is the private can participate in that and how they can get the details of the projects.
Okay. The second one, that regarding ODA project is concerned, that our young loan assistance is to provide loan to the government of India. So implementation bodies are for example, the entity in India. Sometimes that water board, sometimes that construction, or for example, railway. For example, what we are doing is that various metro projects and high-speed railway. But this will be done by the authority in Indian side. So tender process will be carried out by Indian authority. So I encourage you to, participate to the, if those who have interest in that infrastructure sector, yes, yeah. But Japanese government or JICA itself is not involved for the process of that choosing or
Okay. Another question: what are the Japanese rules and regulations, including taxation requirements, to be complied by Indian companies when doing offshore IT services? For IT services, what are the rules and regulations?
I'm sorry, I'm not the expert of that one. So if I say something that to bug you or something, so maybe I have to check properly, because I think Hyderabad, there are many people, professional people, so answer should be very precise. So I'm sorry, I cannot answer very precisely, but every thing is available and online, that what the regulation. So I will check it, or I will share with you, or JETRO office, which is the trade promotion organization of Japan, can provide you also. Thank you.
Another question on the visa related, business visa. In case of resource movement, person movement as part of business, whether will it possible to know what are the business visa processing requirements with multiple entry, and also work visa requirements with multiple entry?
Okay.
Duration.
Okay. So now today, as of now, this year, at this moment, because of COVID, there are restrictions. So we are not issuing a new visa. But the normal situation, we are now encouraging, or we are now trying to promote to issue multiple visa for the business people. For example, those who traveled twice in last 3 years, we are basically ready to issue the multiple visa, 3-year multiple visa, for example. So it become to get multiple visa for businessman is not difficult, and requirement also very simple. So all these are available in our website, or if particular applicant can ask my visa office. It's not too difficult. Yeah. And also for the student, university student visit, whatever purpose, tourism or study or short visit, we simplify. So we are encouraging the visit of university student or student also. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. There are several members, they are interested in technology transfer or joint ventures in various sectors, such as railway, IT, solar, pharmaceutical, then fruits, vegetables and flowers, gem and jewelry, handicrafts. Some are collaborative training. Is there any scope for halal industry in Japan? One of the participants is asking. Halal industry.
Okay. Okay, very particular question. Okay, first general thing that technology transfer or collaboration. One aspect is the government side, what the government can do. For example, we are cooperating with Indian National Railway for capacity building. So like that, sector base, we have certain program to support such training system. The other side, most of the part, actually this depends the private sector. This up to company relation. So first thing, I wish those companies who have interest to find out the matching in Japan. For example, if you are food processing industry, find out food processing company in Japan and to have correspondent directory. And in this regard, JETRO office will also help you. Unfortunately, JETRO office is not in Hyderabad, but JETRO Bangalore. I think if you just mention type JETRO or Bangalore and click, their web is coming, so they will have those inquiry very well. And regarding halal industry or halal food, actually, you're talking about in Japan. Maybe nowadays in Japan, I see many halal restaurant, particularly mentioned halal because of the many foreigners now visiting Japan. So it's a scope, but again, a particular cooperation, maybe you try to find, and maybe this halal company can contact the JETRO office to find the matching.
There are several other questions, and we will share with your office. Maybe one of your commercial attached section, he can respond to those. And
okay.
We feel that one of the JETRO officers is required in Hyderabad, so that they can help the local industries and we can further improve the trade between Telangana and Japan. So that is our request. Maybe you can take up with the concerned government authorities, and JETRO, they can plan an office here. JETRO is doing excellent activities, and we have interacted with several times with them, and maybe the office is required in Hyderabad, so that further boost can happen to the trade.
Also, I would just like to add, with the recent cabinet approval to facilitate movement of skilled workers from India to Japan, which was all over in the news a week back, where the cabinet has given an approval. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of demand now for the language course also. So, one thing we can assure is definitely we'll continue with this language course from the FTCCI. And then, of course, we can speak to JETRO and other organization on certain other skill development programs that can be or conducted at the FTCCI.
Yes. Any other questions from the panelists? So the query is,
Yeah.
Yes, please.
So I only addressed about that, not in my address, I mainly talk about the history, and I could not talk about much our future, but it's really important for us now to think how we can think better after COVID. And I believe that considering India's vast economic potential and its ability to contribute to the world economy in a post-COVID-19 world. And I believe that India will or can become a hub of stronger regional and global supply chains. So, and Japan can cooperate not only for the Make in India, but for the Make for World in this context. So let us think, not only think, but to do our best to make this thing happen. Yeah. And from this direction, I try to do my best. And I would like to also to have your kind support and cooperation. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency.
Can I say a few words, please?
Yes, please.
Taga-san, actually, when you were talking about, you mentioned about many government-to-government relations. As I said in my talk, Mr. K.T. Ramarao, our industry and IT minister, is going to Japan in April. Actually, last year, this visit was planned, and we discussed what we should do in Japan, etc. at that time. But because of COVID, the whole thing got delayed. If it is possible for Mr. Ramarao and his office to contact you and you collaborate with him, it would be very.
Can you hear me? Okay. Of course, I'm very happy to cooperate with the industry minister or industry secretary. Actually, I'm planning to visit Hyderabad toward the end of this month. So at that time, I'm requesting, of course, the courtesy call on the governor and the chief minister. At that time, I also tried to meet that industry minister. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, and also Hyderabad has Telangana has a plan to make a relationship with Shizuoka prefecture.
Yeah.
And that also can be boosted during his visit. So maybe good coordination with his department and office would be very beneficial. And if Mr. Ramarao approaches me further again in this regard, I will contact you and other officers in the consulate.
Your Excellency, we will also be happy to host you at the FTCCI if you let us know well in advance. With all
Thank
the
you.
platforms, we'll be very happy to invite a few industrialists to come and see you.
Thank you very much. And actually, I also believe in the importance of the sister city relations, and I'm happy, and I know that Mr. Badra was very much instrumental for the sister relation between Mishima and Hyderabad.
Miyoshi and Hyderabad.
Yeah, Miyoshi city and Hyderabad.
Yeah.
So I hope that the good relation between Shizuoka and Telangana can be also established in this context. If I can do or facilitate your thing, I'm very happy to cooperate. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. The questions what we have raised, we'll share with your office. Maybe you can later on clarify us, and we will conclude this. I'll propose a vote of thanks. I'm extremely happy to propose a vote of thanks to Your Excellency, Mr. Taga Masayuki, Consul General, Consulate General of Japan, Chennai, for sparing valuable time and addressing the trade and industry of Telangana. We are sure the trade between the two countries, especially with our state, will grow in leaps and bounds. I request all the members to take advantage of this program and explore business opportunities with Japan. And they can contact FTCCI for any exploration with the Japanese companies. We'll work with the consulate and try to help you in expanding business. I thank Mr. B. Rambhadra, President, and Mrs. Nagnath of Asabhanu Japan Center for their all support. I also thank the press and media for covering the proceedings of this important seminar. Last but not least, I thank the participants for sparing their time and joining this event. I lastly request the consulate to visit FTCCI and interact with FTCCI whenever you plan to visit Hyderabad. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.